and then I got called out on a route and totally spaced it off, so I'm so sorry about yesterday's mess.
Kathy,
But yeah,
on that lineup where you have 222 and 10, I have to be in front of her because I have a wheelchair. Is that
and I
right?
changed it because Cindy taught me, and
Okay.
she said I put 20 like right in here,
Right.
and then moved you up and put 211 where you're at now, is that
Okay.
right?
Yes.
Moved everybody up a slot basically. That's
And
okay.
Cindy back behind me. Cindy's usually behind me.
No, she didn't tell me that.
Oh.
I can change
I
it.
get there usually first, and then she's right behind me. Because where I have to put my lid down, you know, there's those poles, so I have to get in between those poles.
Holes, that makes sense.
Okay, so
Again, this is only for the middle and the high schools, and I have done all 4 of them. We based it on a lot of different reasons. If you're turning before the other buses, I put you closer to the back so that you're not turning and stopping the whole line of buses. Some drivers just have difficulty getting here on time, so they've been moved to the back of the lineup. But these are all copies. All copies of this are in the break room. And look for this date, 9/14. You're going to look for the newest date. So the 14th is the newest one. Okay, so if you have an old one, go make sure you grab a new one. All right, so this is the sheet that we fill out every day and we turn in at the end of the week. We just want to reiterate, this is not the same one that you'll use for today, for your checks on Wednesday. We have a different one. It looks like that one I just blew by. The one that you fill out today looks like this. And it's more detailed as far as the fluids and stuff like that. So this is the one that you'll fill out for Wednesdays. It is also in the break room back there by all the other inspection sheets. And this is one you'll fill out. You'll turn it in today. You have to sign off on it. Excuse me. We have to initial it. I don't know why it doesn't have anything on there for us, but we have to initial it. That's how you're getting paid. Okay, everybody has to turn one of these in on Wednesdays. Yes?
Maybe you'll cover this, but have they put out the videos and stuff on what we're supposed to be checking?
No, they have not.
Okay.
I'm so sorry. We have just
That's
been
okay.
so swamped. This
I'm
is
just trying to figure out what we're supposed to check if we can't check everything.
Right, and we're happy to go out and we'll walk you through that and show you how everything needs to be checked and what to check. So,
So we have to initial, what does that mean? Have to find you? And
yep, you'll have to just find one of us and have us initial off on it, or one of the mechanics, they can sign off on it too. But this is your pay sheet for Wednesdays. Any questions? Sorry?
what about the
If
parents?
you come in and just fill out a timesheet and put, I think we're putting V cleaning on yours. Because if you just come in and sweep out the bus or something like that while they're doing their check, that's all we need from you. Okay? Any other questions? Yes?
Those of us that do noon pre-K, I have to do one for noon pre-K?
No, you just do one for your big bus. Because typically there's a driver that takes your bus in the morning. And that's what they'll do, is your bus. Any other questions? Mechanics, anything you want to add to that? No? Okay. All right. I didn't make a slide, I just put that in there so I wouldn't forget. Backup policy. If you are backing a bus, what are we supposed to do before you back? Honk your horn. Why do we do that?
Let people know we're backing up.
Let people around you know what we're doing. It's to draw attention to you, whether they're pedestrians or other vehicles, to you. We just have some new drivers. Again, we have some old drivers that have gotten into some bad habits, so we're just covering everything as a basic. Your rear lights in the dark. If you have daytime running lights and you don't actually turn your headlights on, do you have tail lights on in the dark? You do not. It's just like a car. If you do not actually physically turn your headlights on, you have no tail lights. So it may look like your headlights are on if you're in one of the newer buses, because technically they are. Your daytime lights are on, but they can't see you behind you because your tail lights aren't on. Okay, you have to physically turn your headlights on, and that's on all. Yeah.
Yeah, Ken, I think drivers that are already out, backed out and moving, should be a little more cautious about people backing out and stop for them.
Yes.
Because I've seen too many just hauling by, and you can't really see that well as you're backing up.
That's
All
true.
you can see is what's directly behind
Right. So
Yeah, there's glare off that glass.
you. Yeah.
Sometimes I think
See it
somebody's
all.
coming and they're not.
yeah.
Because of the glare off the glass.
We actually had somebody ask yesterday if we could do some sort of dimming on the lights in the mornings when we're trying to load to help with that glare. And I don't know if that's a possibility, but we're checking into it. I don't know that that's I don't know, but you're right, it is, and you guys all know that, when you back out, it's hard. So if you're a driver going around, first of all, the speed limit's 15, you need to be staying to the outside, not directly behind the buses when you're driving. And then watch those that are backing out, so the chances are pretty slim they can see you.
Especially with the north fence line now, if we start using those buses, we start getting into spares and stuff, they're really gonna have reduced visibility when they're backing out. You know, I can expect it coming from that side too, so, yeah, really just, if you're the one driving through there, be cautious, pay attention, look for brake lights, look for people moving.
Exactly.
And that backup alarm and everything, just be really, really careful, we don't want an accident out here. Any questions on those so far? Nothing? All right. Driver handbook. We're going to cover some stuff in the driver handbook that pertains to some stuff that we've seen this week. Just expectations as a driver. We ask, and again, this is in the handbook. You guys have all signed off that you've read it. We ask that you know each child by name. Are you going to know it by now? No. You're going to know the ones that you had to yell at already. Those are the first ones you learn. But your ideal is to have all your kids memorized at some point. You need to know who they all are. So when they get on the bus, you can call them by name. When they get off the bus, you can call them by name. Keep in mind, you're the first one to see them in the morning, you're the last one to see them at night, and some of these kids go home to a life that is not ideal. And you are the last positive thing they hear for the next 12 hours, as sad as it is. So it's extremely important. You learn who these kids are and you build a relationship with those kids. You're not there just to be their driver, okay? The driver has to have good organizational skills, particularly in assigning seats. We talked about that at the last meeting. It's a Kansas law, first of all, you have to have assigned seats, and now the CDC is coming down on us, that's feds. Don't mess with the feds. Have your assigned seats. It needs to be above the seats. If you need sticky notes, I will get you sticky notes to put them above your seats. And then you also need to fill out that chart. If the CDC has to come in and you don't have a seating chart, your tail is on the line. We've told you I can't help you with this one. It's you on the line for that one, okay? And we'll do whatever we can to help you out with that.
So putting their names on the bus is part of our responsibility as well?
That makes it easier for most
I
drivers.
know, but
It's
is
not
that
required
Is that, okay, as long as we have a seating chart,
on paper.
right.
That's
we're
what they're
okay.
required. Yep. Any other questions? Okay. For those that run shuttles between Mays High and Mays South, you do have to have the sticky notes there, and I have the schedule for that. So I know, Lavonna, you do that. I don't know if there's anybody else in here that does it, but I can get with you after the meeting and talk to you about that. Make sure that you're treating everybody fairly. If little Sally is up over the back of the seat playing with her seatmate behind her, and you holler at her, and Tim does it, and you don't yell at him, you're not treating everybody fairly. You've got to be able to treat them fair across the board. You have to have excellent nonverbal skills. Some of you do, because as soon as you walk through my doors, I go, oh crap. That's excellent nonverbal skills. You didn't have to say a word, and I already knew what was going on. That's what we need you to have on the bus, because you can't always just yell at the kids, but if I look in the mirror and I go like this, 9 times out of 10, they're back down in their seat doing what they're supposed to be doing. Those are nonverbal skills that you need to, if you don't have them, talk to one of us. We can give you a handful of them you can start using. And it's really important now because half of your face is covered. So the fingers are a good one, and your eyes. So if you need help with that, let us know, but you need to have really, really good nonverbal skills. Make sure you're giving short, concise directions. The kids don't want a speech. About 2 seconds in, they're done listening to you. Make them short. Sit down and be quiet. Put your mask on, put your mask on, put your mask on. Please put your mask on. Short and concise, okay? Make sure you're comfortable with contacting parents. If you're having issues with anything, they should be your first go-to. You should know who these, especially your trouble kids. Not all parents are great at communicating or great at helping us, but there are a lot of them out there that are. They're happy to do whatever they can to help you, and they can reiterate it at home as well. Consistent judgments, we kind of already talked about that. You need to be coachable. If you're not doing something, if you're doing something that we think we can do a little bit better, don't hate us for suggesting it. It's just a suggestion, unless it's illegal, and then that's a whole other ballgame. But if we suggest, hey, we noticed that you're having a lot of problems with Sally. Have you tried doing something like this, or have you tried moving them to this, or we've heard from the school that these two kids have issues. Have you tried separating them and doing this? You need to be coachable. We're all coachable in the office. We're always getting advice from each other and from higher ups. We just need to be coachable. Oh, again, to reiterate the phone numbers, please make sure that we have one on file that we can give to your kids as parents or their guardians. So if they have concerns, they can contact you. At railroad crossings, put your hazard lights on to indicate you're stopping. Do not throw on your 8-ways. Your 8-ways being the lights up on top of the bus. Those are not the lights that should be flashing at your railroad crossings. It should be your hazards or your 4-ways. You do use your hazards to indicate unscheduled stops. So if you pull over in a neighborhood between tiers while you're waiting to start tier 2, you just pull over to the side, turn your hazards on, and that way people, they still stop for me when I do that. I know, I get it. I know. It's the nature of the beast.
Sometimes you have to turn them off, tell them to go by.
Right. But anyways, make sure you're using your mirrors. That's our biggest way to keep kids safe, especially in a school bus. All students are to be on their assigned seats. If students are out of control, pull the bus over to address that, especially if it's bad. Don't be doing that while you're trying to drive down 21st Street. Find somewhere to pull off, take care of the situation, and then move on. Once students are on your bus, they are not to get off until they are at their final destination, whether that's home or school. They don't go, oh, I'm riding home with John today. He's right, the next block down. No, that's not how that works. Whatever it says on the paper is where they go to. And they don't get off anywhere but other than school and at home. So don't be letting them pull your leg. The bus, radio, and PA are tools, great tools for communication. We just need to keep the 2-way radio traffic down. You guys have done a pretty good job on that, so we don't need to know that there's a cow out on 53rd Street or something like that, unless it's dead, and then we can call to get somebody to move it, but otherwise just keep it down to stuff that we have to know. Students are not to talk and yell out the window at students in the bus beside you. If it occurs, shut your windows. Don't let them open the windows. And don't let them throw trash out. I had to get on one the other day. That's a $250 minimal fine to their parents if they get caught. And the first time I said that, the whole bus just sat down and went, I'm telling your mom. So, anyway, they don't know that if you put a little bit of fear in them. Sometimes that helps. Any questions so far on that one before I move to the next page? Okay. After you unload students at the school, close your door and turn on your left signal. That indicates to everybody else around you and the administrators that are releasing you that you are empty. Okay, we're seeing a lot of buses not using that left signal. And it's stalling us. It's keeping us held up at some of those schools because the administrators don't know you're empty. So when you're empty and you're ready to move on, you shut your door and you turn your left signal on. Vehicles that, your personal vehicles, don't take them behind the gates. Everything that's personal stays out front. Be professional on the 2-way radio. Do not use your cell phone. It's CDL. Y'all have a CDL, except for our minibus drivers, even you guys. No cell phones, not even the earpieces. No cell phones whatsoever. If you have to make a phone call on your cell phone or make a text, with your CDL, you have to legally pull completely over, turn the engine, put it in park or neutral, set your parking brake, turn the engine off, and then your bus is out of order. It's no longer running. And then you can make that call or text. If you're stopped at a stop sign or a stoplight and you're using that, that is technically still a moving vehicle and you will get caught. You can get caught and you can get fined and lose your CDL. So please don't do that.
Oh, they're out heavy today too.
The
The sheriffs on the highways in the city, they're pulling people over like crazy.
Pre-trip and post-trip inspections. We've talked about those. Make sure you're getting them turned in every week. We're required by the state to get those done. Maps still need to, they have to be completed. They're crazy. I know we keep changing them on you. We keep giving you new kids, taking kids off. I know it's nuts and I'm so sorry. A lot of drivers have started doing their routes in pencil. I can't do anything but apologize. They take kids on and off of that stupid hybrid stuff and we just have to keep.
I thought
Friday's
they weren't allowed
supposed
to
to be-
do that.
Huh?
I thought they weren't allowed to do that, but now they are.
Friday is the last day.
Yes. Friday's the last day they're allowed.
This next Friday is supposed to be the cutoff.
Oh, okay. I thought it was supposed to be
It was.
last
Before
Friday.
It was, now it's this.
Hopefully that's getting ready to come to a close and we can quit making all these crazy changes. Once your maps are done, make sure you bring them to one of us so we can initial off on it. You still have to do that every month. That way we make sure that it's kept up to par. Because the worst thing in the world is for a sub to get in there and not stop at a stop because it's not on the map and then we get yelled at. I don't want to do that. Do not leave students unattended on the bus. You should never be getting off of your bus unless it's a dire emergency. And in that case, you're probably taking your kids with you. If you break down on a railroad crossing or if it's on fire, then you're using your emergency exits and getting off the bus. Otherwise, you do not get off of that bus and leave those kids on that bus alone, okay? Follow your scheduled routes as written. Please don't deviate from that because again, it makes it life really, really hard on the subs. And the transporting is starting to learn your guys' routes now too. So wherever you're stopping, if it's not on the designated spots, you're throwing transporting off. Any questions before I move on? Oh, you guys are an easy crowd, I like it. Do not pass other buses. This hopefully will be helped since I redid the routes. I know it's annoying when you get behind a bus that's trying to turn, but we just don't do it. Don't pass the other buses. If your bus breaks down on the route, don't let your children walk home. I don't think I should have to say that. Don't let them walk. If they're on your bus, they stay on your bus until they get to their designated stop. I don't care how far they are from their house, you don't let them walk home, okay? You have to stay on the bus until your other bus comes to you. All windows need to be closed at the end of the route. If they put them down, you can make them put them back up.